Okay, so finally, before we wrap this little What's New session up, of course, we have to talk about Google Classroom. There's always new things happening in Classroom. Some of the things I think you can be excited about is if you go into one of your classes and you look in the Gemini section. So there are a whole bunch of Gemini tools now built into Google Classroom. If you haven't seen them, they're right in there. Just a couple of things to note: these ones with the little coloured icons, these have been separated from these ones down the bottom here, which are actually prompts that are built in. It'll throw you out to Gemini with an actual prompt. They were all mixed up together at one point, and now they've been separated out into the top section and the bottom section. So much easier to tell apart. One of the new things that's in here is this one called Create an Audio Lesson. So one of the things you can do in here is come in here and say, let's say I want to do this for year 6 and my topic is insects and bugs, let's say, and I can say generate the learning objectives. It's going to come up with a list of ideas for what it thinks this little audio file should cover. And if I scroll down a little bit, I can choose the avatar for the teacher. So I can pick a voice for the teacher.
Welcome. I'm here to guide you through the material.
And there's a couple of different voices you can pick from.
Welcome. I'm here to guide you through the...
So let's go with that second voice. And I can also pick a voice for the student. And what this audio lesson will be is a conversation between the teacher and the student about that topic. So kids can listen to this and actually hear the topic discussed. And for many kids, that's the way they want to learn, by listening to stuff rather than reading it. So let's pick a student.
That sounds interesting.
What's the second one sound like?
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. So we've got our teacher, we've got our student. We say generate the audio lesson. Again, that'll take a moment just to generate that. But this is built right into Google Classroom now. And you can see it's now going through and generating the script of what will get said in here. And at the end, it'll have the actual audio file. Let's just pause, come back to it. Okay, so that's now finished. You can see down the bottom, there's a nearly 7-minute audio discussion about insects.
Hello. Today we are going to explore the fascinating world of small creatures and learn the key differences between insects and other animals we commonly call bugs. We'll be covering the essential rules for identifying a true...
Now, I'll just skip through a little bit so you can hear some other bits.
Can you tell me the 2 main ways spiders break the rules we just discussed?
Well, first, they don't have 6 legs. Spiders have 8 legs, right? And if they have 8 legs...
So that discussion as an audio file can then be exported out to Drive or even to Slides so that students can listen to the information rather than read it all. And like I said, many students absorb the information much better in that audio format. So that's built right into Google Classroom now. Some of the other things that are in Classroom, and honestly, Gemini is appearing everywhere in here. If I just go into, say, my demo class here, let's just not save that, and I go into my classwork page, one of the things I can create now is I can embed either a NotebookLM file or a custom gem. Do you remember I said I had a custom gem that was like a discussion with Picasso? I can come in here, choose that gem. So I'll select an existing gem, and there's my gem about Pablo Picasso. I can attach that gem, and that then, okay, it's just going to give me a little preview of that, like so. So I can read about it, and I can read what the prompt is structured like. But just let's go back here, and I can give that a title. I'll call it Chat with an Artist, right? And I can write my description or whatever. But when I send that out to the students now, when they click on that, they'll be able to interact with that chat. Now, they can't change anything. They can't edit it. All they can do is interact with the gem that I've created for them. But I can have my students have a conversation with Picasso about the art that he did. So lots of possibilities in here about that idea of being able to embed in here either a NotebookLM file or a gem. And it's freely available now in all versions of Workspace. Now, just to wrap up the classroom section of things, if I go to create a new assignment here, you'll see that I have all these little buttons down the bottom, and there is the NotebookLM and the gem file that I said you can embed in here. But let's just pop into Read Along for a second. And Read Along is a great tool. If you haven't played with it yet, it's a great tool for giving students books and having an AI character read along with them. They'll list the character, will listen to the student read the book, and then give them feedback, and then give the teacher some statistics at the end. So you can come in here, and there's a whole bunch of books built in here, and you can select a book and choose a reading level and a language and push it out to the students for them to read. But what I want to show you, the thing that's new, is you can now write with AI. So if you target a specific year group, tell it what the topic is, give it any additional notes you want it to consider, any required keywords you want the students to be exposed to, and generate the story, it will turn that into a book. So you're not just limited now to the books that come in the read along library, even though there's quite a few in there. There's, I think, about 800 books in there, but you can now make your own books up, again, about specific students or specific topics or specific reading levels. So you can design that with the new Write with AI feature that's built right into Classroom. And of course, if you've got a story in mind already, there's a little add button there and you can just paste the text in there. So if you've got some specific text you want to turn into a book, you can do that as well. It doesn't put the illustrations in the book with those ones just yet, but I'm sure that's coming. So that's some of the new stuff that's coming in Google Classroom, and it's not coming, it's there right now. So go and play with it. There's the AI stuff in Classroom is starting to really become interesting. Finally, the last thing I want to talk to you about is NotebookLM. This is a subject of a whole session just on its own. So if you haven't yet tried NotebookLM, do check it out. NotebookLM.google.com. Check it out. It's amazing. The basic idea of NotebookLM is you can give it a whole bunch of pre-existing content and then interact with that content. So this generative AI, unlike Gemini, which relies on the entire internet and all the data out there in the world, you give NotebookLM your specific source data and it only interacts with that source data. So you get zero hallucinations. It's really good for research and putting your own information in. Whole other topic. We could do a whole session on just NotebookLM. The thing I want to show you that's new is these little buttons over on the side here in the studio panel. This has rearranged itself a little bit over the last little while, but some of the new things in here, NotebookLM was famous for its audio overviews, which is like a podcast style discussion between two virtual hosts that discuss the content of your source material. But now you can do video overviews as well. So not just audio, but video. You can generate flashcards and quizzes and mind maps and infographics and slide decks, and now even data tables. So if your information contained structured data of some sort, you can arrange that into a table and export it out to a spreadsheet. So that's all in there. And this studio panel is growing all the time. So like keep an eye on it because there's always new things coming. Any of these that you see with the little pencil icon, if you click on it, you can fine tune the way it works. So this is the audio overview. And as you can see, you can do like a deep dive, a brief, a critique, or a debate. You can choose the length of it. You can even choose the language that it's going to be in. And down the bottom here, you can, give it some specific focus. If there's things you really want to focus on, you can describe it down there. So anything with a pencil icon, you can click on that and fine tune the output of the results. So that's just some of the new stuff in NotebookLM. Do take a look if you haven't already. And that'll wrap us up. Thanks for joining for this session on what's new with Google for Education as we enter into the 2026 school year. I hope you go and explore some of these things. They are really cool tools for working with in your class and with your students. Like I said, please subscribe or hit that like button if you haven't already, because we plan on making more of these videos. And if you subscribe, you'll be notified as soon as they're released. So thanks for joining me on this one. See you in the next one.